I think Rene Descartes is a lot of fun. Even though his arguments sometimes are wanting, he was imaginative, creative, a very good writer, and obviously a genius. To be sure, oftentimes in introductory philosophy courses, he's treated as a whipping boy, so to speak, in terms of analyzing his arguments and then spotting all these various fallacies and so forth. But he was a very interesting philosopher and definitely someone worth studying. So I'm going to finish up my mini-series on Rene Descartes, where I apply the skills we've learned from logic to analyze his arguments and also to compare and contrast his worldview, so to speak, his argumentation with more traditional Aristotelian scholastic philosophy, which he was trying to replace. But I don't think he succeeded. And that's one of the themes in my various videos of this mini-series. So I'm going to finish it up, and perhaps in the future I'll do another mini-series on another philosopher. My desire is to perhaps one of these days do something on Boethius, for example. I think that would be a really interesting mini-series to do. But I know this mini-series has been going on for, almost a year. So I've only produced videos very sporadically, very infrequently, but I have a lot on my plate, including various health issues, so juggling all these things is difficult. But regardless, let's finish up this series, and I hope you enjoyed and benefit from it. We're going to finish up Meditations on First Philosophy by Rene Descartes. This is my copy of the book. It's very readable. It's probably the most readable of major works in philosophy, if you get down to it. And it's a lot of fun. We've covered, or are going to cover, all the main topics of the Meditations, from the Coeto argument concerning those things that can be called into doubt. I cannot doubt to myself that I exist, for that doubting presupposes that I do exist. We've talked about the nature of the human mind that is better known than the body. We've talked about the arguments for the existence of God, which are really, really interesting. I don't think they're as good as the traditional arguments, but still, they are creative, to be sure. And we've analyzed them in depth, and I really enjoyed doing that. I hope you did too. We talked about the nature of truth and falsity in terms of how do we err? How is it possible to err? We've talked about the essence of material things, and I've covered in one of the videos some of Descartes' mathematical contributions and the history of that. And we're going to get more and more into the philosophy of mind. Meditation 6 is concerning the existence of material things and the real distinction between mind and body. So let's do this. Previously we had different challenges, so this is an example of a challenge from Garrigou-Lagrange. And here's a challenge actually against the Coeto argument from the philosopher Bertrand Russell, and one of the surprising things is that there is a parallel, an overlap with the argument that Garrigou-Lagrange uses against Descartes. That was in the first video of this series, by the way. In part 2, we got into Descartes' arguments for the existence of God, but it seemed that he had a big problem here, a big circular argument, and that is now known as the Cartesian circle. One of Descartes' more creative arguments is the so-called trademark argument for God's existence. It's really cool, and we went through it step by step by step, explicitly as possible, to really analyze that argument and then determine, is it a valid argument? Is it a sound argument? Or, if it's not sound, what went wrong? One reference in this series has been Etienne Gilson's methodological realism, and he talks about what he thought Aristotle's error was and what Descartes' error was. In any case, one big area that, in my view, Descartes got wrong was his view of final causality. And his arguments here are surprisingly really weak when he tries to debunk Aristotle's understanding of final causality. Another topic has been the philosophy of mathematics, in addition to Descartes' contributions to mathematics, and a major reference has been Father Andrew Younan's book, Matter and Mathematics. And I did a review of the book. It's very good, and I believe that video got like 10,000 views or something, so it was a very popular video.